Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's podcast. Today we are recording an additional, or not an additional, like a continuation of a series we've basically started impromptu because it did well. Like it got a number of streams, and we really enjoyed preparing for it and researching about it. So this is again one of the few episodes in which we actually put in work. so, so I guess I want these types of episodes to firstly do well and also just be very informative but also fun. That's the objective of I think a lot of the podcasts that we try and do it in any case. Today's episode is kind of initiated by the Bong Cinephile, who is here to join me only because
Hello,
everyone
hello.
else was chickened out of this because they didn't want to see low grade images or low resolution images because
240 pixel films.
yes, exactly. And I love this kind of whatever. Like we'll discuss this in detail. But welcome, Pong Cinephile. How are you? How are you? I was about to say your different names. I
I'm
always get
fine,
confused
little
which
bit
name to address you. But yeah, go
Simon,
ahead, sir.
Simon. Simon
Simon.
is okay.
Yes, 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 yes. How are you, Simon?
Little bit exhausted lately, watching great films, and then
Oh.
Julian Donkey Boy. The exhaustion level spiked up.
I mean, that's the best type of
Let's see.
exhaustion, though, I feel like.
Need
I
to
mean,
watch
not
more
not the
good
Julian
films.
Donkey Boy one, the the other,
Huh.
watching great films and getting
A
exhausted.
good films one, that was good exhaustion.
Yeah.
But this
Uh,
one, I need to talk with Harmony Korine. What is this?
we will talk also, by the way, because our topic for today is the Dogma 95 movement.
Hmm,
This is, and I'm not going to be introducing this
hmm,
because I think Simon will do a much better job of doing it. I can just give you like the brief thing that it's a Danish film movement, which is started by these
hmm.
four filmmakers: Lars von Trier, Thomas Vinterberg, Soren Krag Jacobsen, and Christian Levering. Lars von Trier and Thomas Vinterberg are the two sort of main people behind it,
They
and
wrote the manifesto.
they wrote. And
They're
now,
like later
actually,
to
yeah,
join.
no, I will leave it to you, Simon. I am listening. I am the audience.
Uh,
Yeah.
Dogma 95 is basically when Winterberg and Lars von Trier, like it's
Hmm.
a very jokingly they made this film movement. They were
Yeah.
sitting around joking off, and then
Yeah.
just Winterberg said, "What if we strip down anything that makes a film polished or pristine looking,
Hmm. Yeah.
anything that's available to a filmmaker to make his film more appealing? So
Yeah.
what if we strip down everything and just
Yeah.
keep it original or pure, like
Hmm.
what used to happen in the 18th century or 19th century films?"
Yeah.
So then they wrote down 10 points. Basically, they cancelled, in that 10 points, they cancelled everything
Hmm.
that made filmmaking easier,
Yeah.
means appeal to the masses, and they kept it
Yeah.
very strict or stern to make
Yeah.
these films.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this way, in one lazy Sunday afternoon, the
Yeah.
Dogme 95 movement was started, and
Hmm.
the start was very grand. They waved the manifesto in one function or something in France. So then the
Yeah, it was
first
some
film,
celebration I was reading, like
uh,
some celebration of films.
yes,
And then
yes,
they
yes,
waved
yes.
this manifesto, which basically was like
Uh,
films have been wrong throughout
uh,
history and we are correcting them. So,
yes,
yeah,
it, all weird ideas from Lars von Trier,
yeah,
and Winterberg was
understandably
like his
so.
assistant.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
The first film was Festen, that means celebration,
Yeah.
which did very well. Like it's critically acclaimed, won prize at Cannes, and
Yeah.
highly rated film. And the only good film remains from that movement,
Yeah.
like universally
Yeah.
celebrated.
Yeah. So
Then slowly
celebrated.
after,
Nice.
huh, celebration celebrated.
Yes. Uh,
Uh, Then after 31 films, the movement kind disintegrated
hmm.
because it became hard to make such films.
Hmm.
Because I guess
It's,
there was no revenue for it. Because it was,
yeah.
huh.
Also, like the defining
Huh.
filmmaker, like the people
The
who,
filmmakers also went
yeah,
in this separate ways.
yeah,
But
yeah,
the thing to watch out is that they retained some of the dogma
hmm,
principles.
yes,
Like
yes,
in
yes,
Hunt,
hmm,
non-diegetic means the sound is very organic, nothing
hmm,
from
yeah,
pre-recorded stuff or Von Trier films are also retaining the same thing.
I mean, I've seen more Von Trier, so I can say that it's probably shot in a very similar way. I know the camera quality is
Hmm.
different now. Of course, it's much more
हाँ
polished, but
वो तो
but generally they have like a very similar
हाँ
jerky, handheldy camera
hmm.
movement, rapid like jump cuts and all are there throughout.
I
It's
remember
not like.
that one scene from House That Jack Built.
Hmm.
Spoilers when he kills Uma Thurman.
Yeah,
That scene was so abruptly filmed. I was like,
yeah,
okay, he's still at that dogma thing.
yeah, very much. I mean,
हाँ
I guess a lot of them like it very much like it became part of their style, right? Because it was also the time
hmm.
when they started making films, so it's like
हाँ
very much intrinsic to
hmm.
their style. And I think yeah, it's very
Breaking the
interesting.
Waves was before Idiots, right?
Similar year, same year, maybe 1998, I think. Both of them were. I think so, at least.
1996.
Oh, Breaking the Waves was 1996. Okay, okay, okay.
Bon Fear was already established.
He made, yeah, I know he made Europa. That's the one film
हाँ
I know. Like that was his debut feature, I think.
हाँ
Uh, but yeah, Breaking the Waves is very Dogma 95 inflected that way. So like it's
hmm.
very much. I don't remember if there is non-diegetic in that. Non-diegetic music is basically music coming
I,
from not within the scene. Like
हाँ
where yeah.
हाँ
But yeah, like I remember the
this is
camera movement
hmm.
in Breaking the Waves is super same to like how it is in Idiots and other films like
Hmm.
that. But
So Von Trier had just one film in this. So that the main two filmmakers deviated, so the whole movement
hmm,
disintegrated.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was that became the advantages they made became their disadvantages.
yeah, yeah.
The
Nee, it's
chastity only
very,
destroyed
nee,
the movie.
yeah, yeah, agreed. Like I think it's very interesting. Like if you go through their actual manifesto,
Hmm.
I don't know. I've
Hmm.
read a couple of manifestos apart from Dogma. I read the
Okay.
not because of Dogma. Like I read this before about the Soviet
Ha
thingy
ha. So
which Eisenstein had written. See, the
yes, yes, yes.
problem with manifestos is that they are all very, they kind of are like, this is wrong,
Rigid.
this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Ha.
We are correct, kind of like that.
Not that
Which,
much flexible to work
huh,
with.
which is very weird considering they wanted to
Ha.
make filmmaking in some way more flexible, like,
Hmm.
but they impose these rules. So it's
Ha.
like a contradiction in some weird sense.
Hmm.
So it's very like, I think it's best to
It
know that they
defeats the whole
wrote this.
purpose.
Yeah, but it's best to know they wrote this while drinking and while having a laugh, and it's
Ha.
very easy to like digest the manifesto then, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, like I mean, see, the thing is, they
Hmm.
were very much going against like all movements.
Mainstream.
Yeah, all
Ha.
movements, all manifestos always come against the mainstream, right?
Hmm.
Against Hollywood cinema, it comes whatever their prettification of the images, like they just don't want that. But I think I was very
Hmm.
interested in how much they despised or like even rejected earlier film movements. Like I was like, really? I didn't think they would be very
Hmm.
against those movements, which I think have influences in the Dogma thing. So they are very against French New Wave. They're very against Italian neorealism. All this, they
Oh.
think it's outdated almost. Like which it is,
Oh.
but like,
Ha.
but it's very interesting how much they also reject those and go for their own style again. But it's a way to
Hmm.
establish your own movement, right? So I guess you have to reject a lot of the things that happened and be like, we are going to invent something which is, and they did,
Hmm.
to be fair, like they invented something which still
A
has
new
some
aesthetic.
yeah, it's a fully new aesthetic in that sense. And I think uh
Ha.
it's given like rise to so many filmmakers. Even there's a cinematographer that recurs in the films we've chosen to discuss, who works with Danny Boyle now,
Hmm.
who's won the Oscar and everything now, I think. Then actors came through, right?
Mads
I think
Mikkelsen,
so. Mads Mikkelsen being
first
the main
primary.
one, I think, yeah.
Ha.
And yeah, it just gives a different sort of perspective, I think. And I think for whoever is interested in like experimental, slightly like, anti-mainstream
Low
cinema,
budget,
low
grainy
budget.
cinema.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
It's like the perfect, and I think it's kind of also necessary to watch in some ways. At least Festen and Idiots to me are pretty touchstone types things, which are like you should watch just to get a gist of what the movement is. And
These two films are okay. The first two
yeah,
films of Dogme are enough to summarize what
yeah,
every film wants.
yeah. I mean, I won't push people to watch Julien Donkey Boy, definitely.
No. And
Yeah,
also the thing was, the more they made the films,
yeah,
the more films came, the more rules were broken.
yes, yes,
Like
yes,
Julian
absolutely.
Donkey Boy, many rules were broken.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, this doesn't even feel. See,
Huh.
I didn't intend to bring this director again, but it reminded me a lot of late Terrence Malick but Terrence Malick had like has like steady cam, and it's like the camera's floating and you get
Oh,
this impression of like
huh.
someone's subjectivity, right? But it did
The
remind me
scene
of
which
that.
reminded me of Malik, the scene
Hmm.
which was the first appearance of Chloe Sevigny running
Okay,
through the
yeah, yeah.
fields.
Got it.
That
Yes.
scene reminded me of just
Yeah.
yes,
So
share
I didn't
something like
want to bring him up, but it was a comparison that came into my mind, so I can't like not
in every
not
podcast
bring.
Terrence Malik appreciation.
Yeah, Dogma
This
95,
podcast it will
Terrence
come.
Malick.
Both of us are Terrence Malik fans. It will come.
It will, but Dogma 95 and Terrence Malick, I don't think people would expect people to bring him in this. But anyways, but yeah, I think what we should do, I
Vastly
think
different
Simon, is
directors.
go
Hmm.
through. I think we wanted to go through the rules, right? What are the rules that were set
Huh.
that were like
Uh,
very central to these films, I think. And yeah, let's discuss those 10 rules. Uh,
Also,
yeah.
this movement was like very systematic in a sense because they
Mhm.
issued certificates.
Oh
They have to
yes, yes,
prove their
yes.
films
Yeah.
according to the checklist.
Yes. That I mean, see,
That
this is the place where I think it's a bit childish. But again,
huh.
but if again, if you see the movement as originating
Hmm.
from people drinking and having a laugh, then yeah, the whole
Huh.
certificate thing kind of makes sense.
Huh.
But yeah, like it's fun, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, let's discuss the rules, Simon. Go
Huh.
for it. Like, what are the? I
So
have them
10
here
rules.
listed. Yes,
10 rules. They are known as the vow of chastity.
yes.
Huh.
So these are the ones
The
you have to like obey, right? And
huh.
if you disobey
Obey.
them, you
If
have
you
to
are
like,
not obeying, then
yeah,
you have to write a confession, like
yeah,
which rules you have broken.
yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah,
first one is shooting must be done on location.
yeah,
Props and sets must not be brought in.
yeah,
If a particular prop is necessary for the story, a
yeah,
location must be chosen where this prop is to be found.
yeah. I think so. What I'll do is I'll briefly just say that we are so before we continue, let me just
Hmm.
say that we are going to be discussing 4 films from the movement,
Hmm.
and I think me and Simon can very much go through these films individually and then talk about some of the rules maybe they disobey, right?
Huh.
So yes, go ahead, Simon. This is mainly to do with setting the first rule, right? So yeah,
Settings.
yeah.
I guess Winterberg broke one rule. I think he bought a candle or something.
Yes, I think, but that goes for the lighting. I don't know if they mentioned lighting somewhere else
But
also.
prop he brought, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, he bought a prop. Yes, yes. So this is
Uh,
Festen already sort of breaking. Yes, yes,
Second
yes,
one,
yes.
the second rule everybody broke.
Huh, that's
The
the one
sound
which
must
yeah,
the, the sound must never be produced apart from the images or vice
yes,
versa.
yeah,
Music must not be used until it occurs where the scene is being shot.
yeah,
Means where you are filming, you have to bring the musicians there and you have to play the music
yeah,
alongside the scene.
yeah. And I think none of them obey this. Like what? None of the 4 films I've watched at least.
Idiots partly did.
Yeah, but I think it
Mm.
uses one theme recurrently, which is not part of the
That one was
yeah.
pre-recorded,
Yes,
and
yes.
another scene it has some instrumentation which Bontrier brought a crew
Got it.
and
Got it. Got
played
it.
it.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The camera must be handheld. Any
Yeah, this is the
movement or
third rule. Yeah,
immobility,
yeah,
third rule,
yeah,
immobility
yeah,
attainable in the hands is permitted. Means
yeah.
you can't have like a stand or something.
Static. You
Steady
can't have
cam.
static. Yeah. So basically,
Uh,
people who have like nausea, I guess, or like
they can't.
sensitive to, yes, they better not go into this, considering none of these are like uh
Had to crack
stable.
a joke here.
Go
Like
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Ram Gopal Verma uses some angles that are similar to Dogma films.
I
Like
mean,
he's
he would not
focusing from
be
anywhere, right?
he
Between
would
the
not be
cross.
far off like the Dogma movement, to be honest. And Sanjeet will be very proud to hear this. But yes, but yeah, I
I
totally get
remembered
what you
because
mean.
Sanjeev told mentioned Ram Gopal Verma.
He puts like cameras wherever, like I think he said in his
Huh,
teacup or crotch or whatever, like wherever he wants to put it. So I was like, okay, sure.
huh,
But yeah. Fourth rule, sir.
so
Yeah,
the film must be in color.
yeah,
Special lighting is not acceptable.
yeah,
If there is too little light for exposure, the
yeah.
scene must be cut or a single lamp be
Hmm.
attached to a camera.
Yeah. So this is also something that I think they maybe break, right? Special lighting they use sometimes or no?
Julian Donkey Boy breaks.
Yes, yes. I mean that I don't even know how much it conforms to any of these. Like
Huh.
Julian Donkey Boy. It's like arguable if it even follows like uh yeah. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We when we go to the specifics of each film.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Then optical work and filters are forbidden.
yeah.
Again, the one film that comes to mind, Julian Donkey Boy.
Yeah, but I think we'll go in detail when I was
अच्छा
looking
अच्छा
up
ऐसा ठीक है.
how it
हाँ,
was shot. Yeah, yeah.
हाँ.
Uh,
The
so
film
s-
must not contain superficial action,
yeah, so this is
murder, weapon.
yeah.
Hmm.
So the interesting thing about this is like first five rules are like, and this is what I was like reading from an article. I'll probably link in the
Hmm.
description if people want. It's like the first five rules that Simon just listed are production related,
Hmm.
everything like technicalities and everything. But what
Hmm.
he just mentioned about the film must not contain superficial action, that's very like
Hmm.
writing related,
Hmm.
right? Because it's supposed to be like whatever that you must. So it's even pre-production rules are being set here, like the types of films you can make and cannot make, I guess, in a sense. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that difference is established.
Then the
But
second
yeah.
one is temporal and geographical alienations are forbidden. This is to
Yeah.
say that the
Yeah.
films takes place here and now.
Yeah, that's a
Means it
very
cannot be
interesting.
period films.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think then in that respect, I think all of them do follow it. So
Huh.
yeah,
Also,
and
like this one, also the film must not contain any superficial action.
there is
This
there
one
in
also
Open Hearts, no,
where
not murders, but there's accidents and
oh अच्छा,
ऐसे करके. I'm guessing if does that count? Does that not count? Like
हाँ
again, it's too broad a category. What does superficial action even mean, right? So,
hmm,
uh,
means anything
anyways,
apart from talking.
got it. Then the accident is like the main thing in that movie, no? I think.
Huh.
Anyways, we'll go into detail later.
Genre
Yeah.
movies are not acceptable.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, none of them are
Genre,
genre
huh.
movies, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah.
Romance, Open Hearts is a romantic film, right?
I mean, but I guess it's more of a complicated romance rather than
Huh.
like, girl meets boy and like whatever. It
Drama
doesn't have.
mainly.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
The director must not be credited.
Yes.
This
Okay.
one is very interesting. The director
Yeah.
must not be
This
credited.
is the weirdest one actually of all the rules because I
Hmm.
think one of the things that the movement was trying to do, at least in the manifesto and everything they were discussing, is like
Hmm.
they were trying to reject the auteur theory and be like, like it's a collaborative process
Huh.
and like, everything is. But the weird thing is, after the movement, you remember, like at least I remember mostly that these are von Trier movies or like Vinterberg movies or like,
Hmm.
the director ka stamp is very evident in all of them in a weird
Hmm.
way. So
Huh.
I don't know what the I mean I guess the movement didn't reach its goal in some senses of the director not being credited that way, but yeah, so interesting thing you come
Interesting
away
point,
with.
sir. Uh, they thought of these points. Yes, I
Yes,
mean it's not like they wrote it like casually. They
yes.
carefully thought and wrote these points,
Did
even
they
when they are
though?
drunk.
Weren't they just laughing around and drinking?
Ah, like so much detail. Like this film must be in
That's
color,
true.
special.
That's true. That is
They
very
thought.
true.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Then you have to
definitely.
like write a declaration. Furthermore, I swear as
Yeah.
a director.
Yeah, you
I
can go ahead
theoretically.
about that. I think you know a fair bit. The declaration thing, Simon, like it did
The
all of
declaration was
them.
the
Yeah.
confession part, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the confession part was basically, if a director breaks any rule,
Hmm.
any of these 10 rules, then he
Mm-hmm.
has to write a declaration, or it is said as a confession that I
Okay.
have broken this rule. But
Yeah.
although I've broken this rule, still my film complies with the other rules from the dogma,
Got it.
from the vows of chastity.
Yes. Yes. Got it. So one any like I mean there is no like
Winterberg
limit,
has to
right?
write two, I guess. In one scene, he bought a candle outside
Mm-hmm.
prop,
Yeah.
and in another scene, he adjusted the sheets to bring
For
more
lighting,
lighting.
right? Lighting
Huh.
exposure, I think in some scene. Yeah. Okay.
Susanne Bier wrote it because of external song plays,
Yes. Yes.
previously
Yes. Yes.
recorded song plays.
Got it. Yes.
Harmony Korine, nobody knows how many confessions he
Yeah,
has
I mean,
written.
if he writes it, there'll be like at least five of these broken, I feel, in some way, some sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's weird. Like we'll talk about it. Also, he's the only director we're going to talk about who's making Dogma films outside of Denmark. His film is a US production, right?
Yes,
And
Korean also, one Korean film is there, one Spanish.
oh yeah, yeah. Like, but we'll just be
Huh.
discussing three Danish films and
One US film.
one US production.
Also,
So I guess there's more flexibility if they produce or
huh,
make these Dogma films outside, or maybe
huh.
they bend rules much easier. But yeah, it'll be
Denmark, the
interesting.
film culture isn't that much prolific like
Yeah,
what USA has.
apart from Carl Theodor Dreyer, right? I think he's the main.
Dreyer and Billy August, Von Trier,
Yes, yes. Yeah.
mm,
Imagine mentioning Dreyer
Vinterberg.
and Von Trier in one sentence. People like, I mean, not people, but like Von Trier will be like, like a baby, excited baby,
Huh.
mentioning them two in like one sentence.
Hmm.
But yeah, like yeah, it's interesting
Interesting thing.
how like this movement, even like it's weird. I think. Do you think people look down upon it now, or like this movement, or like what do you think people think of it, or people are just like dismissive of it? I feel almost in many senses.
Dismissive of it because the latter films didn't comply. Means the
Hmm.
universality it lost after two or three films.
Got it. I mean, it's very
Huh.
weird, right? Because see,
Huh.
the some of the main characteristics of the movement was super like the editing has, which is what it reminded me of French New Wave, is the rapid cutting, jump cutting
Hmm.
almost, right? Sometimes that thing has translated very well in today's culture, right? Because
Hmm.
everything is hyper edited, everything is like
Huh.
quick, 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 whatever. I guess the big difference, and I think I think why and why maybe none of the guests also other than you and me wanted to cover this is because we are in the Instagram culture also, aren't we? Like the prettified image of like everything needs to be
Huh.
beauty and like whatever and like obsessed with
Huh.
that image quality.
Aesthetic images,
Huh.
aesthetic films.
That's really not translated. I think that's what I think maybe people look at it dismissively also is because they
Huh.
look so bad. They look so
Huh.
cheap. Uh,
People want to look at something very beautiful,
yeah,
very pristine, and then they come across a film like Celebration. Although it's celebrated, it's revered for its quality, but the picture
yeah.
they won't watch,
I mean,
until
how
and
do you put a
unless it is.
screenshot?
Oh yes, yes.
How do you put a screenshot? I mean, isn't it better to just put a screenshot of a much more polished succession?
Hmm.
Like to me, that's like the connection. But but
I
yeah,
knew
no,
this
my
comparison would come. Succession,
but but my
Festen.
point is more to do with why the movement is looked down upon. To me, at least, is very much just image quality.
Image
People want
quality,
this rich, clean image quality. I think, which
and very hard to
um,
get into. These
yeah,
films were means
I mean,
not
yeah, the
super
subject
invitive,
matter, yeah, the subject
but they
matter is not. Yeah, but
huh,
I feel similar subject matter if done in a cleaner aesthetic, they'll still watch.
huh,
Yeah,
that aesthetic matters.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
make a same film low budget, then nobody
yeah.
will watch.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
which is very strange because I think one of the things which, and we are going to go to the movies in 2 minutes, is
Hmm.
that all of these, or at least three of these four films, have an aesthetic and plot that very much
Uh-huh.
feels apt together. Like it feels very much
Mhm.
part and parcel. I can't imagine the celebration being shot well because it takes away from that film.
Hmm.
Similar with Idiots and similar with Julian Donkey Boy. Open Hearts we can argue about, but these three I think definitely have like aesthetic to plot or narrative ka match. Like that slightly disgusting aesthetic I think is worth it. Like I think it adds to the film.
Huh.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah. So okay, so we should move on, Simon,
Hmm.
to each individual film. We are going to
Yes, we
begin
can.
chronologically, so we'll just go with dogma number. The film numbers we are going to be discussing is dogma number 1, 2,
Huh.
6, and 28, I think.
Yes.
So first one, the originator and the one that is most fondly remembered by everyone, or
Hmm.
whoever has seen it, of course, is
Huh.
Thomas Vinterberg's
Festen.
the celebration of Festen, which released in 1998. Which I've already made my Succession joke. So what is it about Simon? If it's not Succession,
Yeah, Succession has been watched by everyone,
yeah.
not me. So
Oh,
I'm
you've
like,
not watched it. Okay. Anyways,
no.
the point is,
Series.
I think Celebration and slash Festen has a very similar family dynamic, in that
Oh.
that the children, the three children, so basically they're coming together to meet for a family for the father's birthday, right? Father's 50th or something
Hmm.
birthday. There's a reunion, and
Huh.
basically when they meet, all
Reunion.
sorts of secrets start to like spill over, and like they're not comfortable secrets, they're very very
And
uncomfortable
that
secrets.
also like very abruptly it happens. Like
Yes,
everyone
yes,
is just thanking the
yes,
patriarch or the head of
yeah,
the family, and then
the
then his
secrets
son
spill
starts.
over. Yeah, so we'll do the spoilers for these, right? Because I mean I
Hmm.
feel most of the people either listening will not watch these movies,
No, no,
or
no. I
or
have
I
a
think
zero
if they,
hopes.
no, or they have already watched it. I feel like that's the audience
Those who
I
have
guess we
watched
are
it,
there
they will
for.
be interested.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think all of these movies, maybe except for Julian Donkey Boy, we are recommending in any case. So we like our upfront we are saying that, so that now we'll just discuss spoilers and not like dilly dally that much on
Hmm.
like what it's about and all that. So yeah, Simon. So you go on, because I think it's one of your favorite films in general, right? So
Ah,
yeah.
the day I remember, Open Hearts, Festen, Mask, three films continuously I watched. I was like, this is so much. Started at 4
Yeah,
morning.
yeah,
Festen, because Winterberg films generally I like, especially Hunt, Another Round.
yeah,
So I was like, I have to watch this film. Then
yeah.
Celebration, a film about a father celebrating his birthday in his big mansion, and all his children
Hmm.
are coming together.
Yeah.
But the one thing is that one of his daughter has died of suicide,
Yes.
and the cause of it isn't
Revealed, right?
found yet,
Yeah.
revealed.
Yeah.
So the best thing I liked about Celebration is how easily Winterberg handles the topic of molestation
Hmm.
or sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Like he induces that plot very easily without
Hmm.
any hesitation,
Yeah.
and that makes the film kind of horror film for me.
It is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally
Huh.
understand what you mean. Yeah.
Because in one scene the characters are like, don't let anyone get away from this, lock the
Yeah.
doors.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Huh.
I think one of the most creepy things about the film to me is the whole idea of everyone in the room just going like, it's
Huh.
fine. And I'm like, no, it's
Huh.
not. Like,
That was also the thing. I got terrified. I'm like, this is not right.
yeah.
But you are still going on with your party.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the
That's
son
the
like
whole thing, right?
continuously
It's like,
comes and starts the conversation about what has been done to him and his sister.
yeah, so this is the main character whose name is Christian, right? This is
Christian.
who's basically revealing who, like in the beginning we don't get, like we are not immediately told that he's
No, it's
uh
very abrupt
yes, yes.
introduction to
So
what
this is
he has
during like one
done.
of the speeches, one of the father's speeches. The first one
Everyone
maybe?
is thanking the
Yes.
father that what
Yes,
he
yes.
has done to them,
Yeah.
what good he has done.
Yeah.
And suddenly the plot.
and suddenly he basically like enunciates it, and it's like a very as you said, abrupt. Like it just feels like, how did that come out? Like, I mean, there are hints that there's something in the house, which is one of the interesting points I'll bring up later also when we are discussing this. But yeah, I think one of my favorite bits, when I watched it, I watched it for the first time in preparation for this episode only. So one of my favorite bits was how each family member in the subsequent speech tries to reject or like negate whatever Christian has said. So like the sister will come on and be like, "Oh, my brother was joking." Then there's I think I found the mother's thing the most creepy, because she goes on this huge speech about how one brother is like this, one sister is like this, and then she basically absolutely dumps on Christian, where she's like, "You used to joke a lot," or something like that. And I was just like really discomforted by how everyone in the family kind of can't accept the fact that the father can be like this sex abuser or molester in the family. And yeah, like that's other notes I have are more to do with how it looks and what that adds. But you go ahead about the narrative if there's like other stuff that you think is
Also, like, except Christian, every character was like kind of dislikable, I felt. Thomas
except for
though last.
Helen, right? uh
The sister,
yeah,
the sister and Christian. I
and
forgot the names.
and
And the
Helen's
boyfriend who
boyfriend,
came.
right?
Uh,
The
Thomas
which
Bolason became a likable character in the last scene when he
the
teaches
Michael
the
character,
father.
the younger brother,
Uh,
in the film, right?
uh,
Yes.
I remember
Where
his name. His
yeah,
acting is phenomenal. I liked him in
yeah,
Hunt
he's
and
very, very good in this. But
Celebration. Yes.
I like the whole inclusion of the black character in this, actually. Like it was again what you said,
Hmm.
right? It's done very, like, as soon as he arrives, that tension is
Hmm.
already there, and Michael is like blatantly racist, and then the whole room
Huh.
becomes supremely racist out of like nowhere, and it's
It's
like,
like already a tension. Tension is there. Another tension comes in.
yeah, exactly. It's like building upon like all these things, and then yeah, and I think this is where this whole idea of shooting it in that style, that dogma style, kind of
Huh.
comes into play also. Like,
And
you have,
it also benefits the close surrounding. Also benefits the
yes,
film to build that
yes,
claustrophobic environment.
totally,
And also
totally.
the dialogues like close the doors, nobody should get out.
Yeah. You're basically like,
Huh.
it's a theater setting almost. Everyone's stuck, and
Huh.
you have to like confront all this like
Nobody
most
will get out.
uncomfortable thing, and then
Huh.
it's like, yeah, you're just stuck there. And yeah, you said about the, how the close setting helps, and I think
Hmm.
the shooting style, this is the
Hmm.
cinematographer is Anthony Dodd Mantle. He's Danny Boyle's regular cinematographer, and he'll also
Slumdog
shoot.
Millionaire, he worked, I think.
Yes.
Huh.
And
So
he
that
shot
explains
Harmony Korine's Julian Donkey Boy.
Julian Donkey Boy.
Yes. But no, here I joke about this a lot, but like, I was like, I have to take a counter of the number of times the camera is actually facing someone straight. It is always off balance, like it's always off center. And
Huh.
like it's like a whole film is
Yes, I
shot in
remember
Dutch
this.
angles almost, right? And I was like, but it adds
Huh.
a lot to the film. Like it's not just there for like a empty purpose. I think it adds a lot to the whole discomforting feel of the film, and the low lighting and like the really harsh, shadows and everything
Hmm.
just really makes it all feel super claustrophobic. And
It
yeah,
adds up to the tension,
yeah, I mean, the image
pressurizing.
quality is also very grainy, right? It's like very,
Huh.
very low quality. It's like
Huh.
early digital video camera, which is transferred onto film, which is
Winterberg
like,
did the most for Dogme, I
yeah,
believe,
yeah.
and very sincerely. What?
I think that's why I'll get to this. That's why maybe I prefer the idiots, because this is very sincere. And
Huh.
I feel with the movement, sincerity ke alawa, I maybe prefer someone going very provocative. Like this is
Okay.
provocative.
Okay.
This is
Huh.
provocative in terms of like, themes and what it's
Hmm.
confronting. But in terms of like aesthetics, I feel it is innovative, but I don't think it's like pushing it. See, so this is my thing with Dogma in general. And when I watched Celebration, I was like, very weird decision sometimes to There's a shot, this is in the beginning, right? Where the camera is supposed to pan from right to left. But because he's holding a handheld camera, you see
Huh.
Mantle get up and he shifts from one position to the next. And I was like, it's such an
There are
interesting
many
thing.
moments like this.
Yeah, no, but
Like,
that's very interesting, right? Because
huh,
this is what made me make that French New Wave comparison, which
huh,
I later was like, oh, these guys are dumping on it, and I was saying that it looks like it. Is because you're kind of made aware
hmm,
of the camera being there in that
hmm.
scene, because that's not a
Right.
traditional way of shifting the camera, right? So
No, no.
so it's very weird because in one sense they're doing full realism, and in one sense
Huh.
they're like taking you away also from it. So that tension is there, which I thought was very interesting. Go ahead, you were saying
This
something.
these scenes where we are reminded that there is a camera following, it
Yeah,
adds up to my excitement for the film, or how much I like the film. Like,
got it.
this is something new or innovative
Hmm.
which I haven't
It is,
watched.
yeah, yeah,
Huh.
yeah. No, no, I
Like, I
totally
can.
get what you mean, and I think that's kind of like in the, I guess, one of the things, actually, I know I'm kind of babbling about this, but one of the things that maybe I like about the weird camera angles is that it's also serves like a very strange narrative purpose, that it might be capturing the ghost's point of view in the house, which is
Oh,
Linda's
oh,
presence. It's because there's one scene in
I
the
haven't
beginning
thought about this.
there's one scene in the beginning where there's a shot or POV shot from the bathroom, which is kind of in slow motion, and it really resembles
Wow,
that of a ghost looking out. So
that's a
that
great.
really that really gives a different dimension to how
Now the
the
film is
thing is shot.
like, I will place it more above in my list.
Well, I'm happy that I guess I made a point that made you like it more.
You didn't like the film that much,
No, no, I really like it. I really like
not
it.
more than Idiots, right?
But Idiots I have a special fascination with. But
Ah,
Celebration is the better film, I feel. Like
ah,
overall, like I also I can recommend it to people. So
wow. This
but
made
but
the whole film more haunting,
it is haunting. But
like ghost
that's the that
perspective.
see, the reason I'm also saying that is because there's one fantastically, like, it's a fantasy sequence almost, right? Where he's almost died, Christian, and it goes the
In the
screen.
forest.
No, no, it's when he collapses, when he comes back to the mansion.
Oh,
And then there's
ha.
this dream sequence almost,
Arre.
right? Which is the
Yes, yes, I remember. I
with
remember.
the it's that's supposed to be his sister, right? Like, who's dead, like
Ha.
with the candle, and he's holding, like, going towards her or going away from her, kind of like that.
I
So
will rewatch the film again
okay, good.
after
I'm
this
very
one.
happy. I'm very happy. But yeah, like, again, I told you,
Huh.
like, I really liked it. And the one thing, and maybe this is the problem, the reason I said why I maybe prefer Idiots is because the other film that I have watched that kind of reminded me of Celebration, I don't know if you like it or if people like it, is Melancholia.
Hmm.
And usme there's like the whole idea of being in this wedding which is supposed to be all glittery and happy, but deep down you have
Hmm.
like this protagonist who's absolutely miserable. So I think usme the contrast between that glittery setting and
Hmm.
internal feelings, maybe that I was like, maybe I prefer that to being like completely in this, really, like, the whole thing looks bad from the beginning. I guess
In
that's my,
celebration.
in Celebration, in Festen.
Huh.
So, which is my whatever minor complaint, but
Also,
like, again,
celebration is very loud. Like, each of the characters like very angsty
it
in a
is, it
sense.
is. Yes, yes, yes. Especially Michael is, because he's
Huh.
very full on
Like,
performance he's
race,
giving.
every bad thing is present in him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
racist,
yeah, yeah. Maybe
dirty.
that's the other reason. Actually, these films maybe are not taken as, or maybe dismissed more because they were this provocative. I don't know. It's
Huh.
very interesting to think about it that
And how
way.
easily Winterberg means he induces such acts. Like, it's nothing
Yeah, yeah.
that much of a deal for them.
Yeah, and it doesn't go like, oh, I am not going to be racist now. I think it leaves the room open
I'm
for these.
racist. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I
Michael is
mean,
fully admitting that.
this is said in the movie, not
Huh.
Simon actually is a racist. But
Oh,
yes, but yes.
oh, cut to 1.5 years ago. I would have been cancelled by now. Now it's relatively less.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
used to.
it's a fascinating movie. Like honestly,
Oh,
I was very much taken by, and I'm not a Winterberg fan actually. I mean, I need to rewatch The
oh,
Hunt, but I don't like Another Round much at all actually. So
another round was weak, I think, but it's the Matt Nicholson dances, so
I
like
mean, yeah,
chalega.
but I can just watch the last scene for that. But
Huh,
but
the
yes,
last scene, obviously.
yes. No, but
And I think
again,
that
no, say sorry.
the another round, why it was praised, I guess, the emotion of Winterberg's daughter dying,
Exactly. Yeah.
who contributed the screenplay, had a minor
Yeah.
role in the film.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might have fueled the love for the film
No, I think a lot of
for
people did
Danish
really
people,
like
not
it. No, yeah, a lot of
in
international
general
audiences
also.
also really liked it, which is like, I mean,
Hmm.
I also thought that the subject matter is something I'm generally not interested in, so maybe it's
Uh,
that for me. But
it's very Danish film, like
it is,
Nordic or Danish film.
yes. But yeah, very much prefer Celebration slash Festen, which is I think
Huh.
really good. And yeah,
Also,
if you
Winterberg doesn't have many highlights in his career. It's like only 3 films,
he's made
which
some
has
British
done
films far from Madding Crowd, I feel, or like his filmography is not as like known that
illustrious as
as
Von Trier.
I mean you say illustrious, I'm sure people will say dog shit also. but
The
we
films are
can
trash. The rest of the films. And like after Hunt, I'm like, okay, let's watch some more. And like
yeah.
they are nothing to watch in this
Hmm.
filmography. It's like
Got
very
it.
low rated,
Yeah,
bad.
I've not seen much actually. I only know about these three films. I always knew that Festen
Even
was
me.
supposed to be great. So yeah, it is great also. So yeah, it's good to know that it's always
Festen, my anticipation for Festen was, oh, it has won prize at Cannes, so
hmm.
obviously good film.
Okay.
Cannes fascination.
But was this did it won the Palm d'Or at Cannes?
Jury
Jury.
prize.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine this winning Palm d'Or at that time for some reason.
oh,
Yeah. But yeah,
that
no, it's pretty big though.
Von Trier won Palme d'Or, and everyone was like shocked. Why?
What did he win for? Melancholia.
Breaking the waves, no,
Oh, he won for Breaking the
dancing.
Waves.
No,
Or
dancing,
Dancer in the Dark
dancer in the dark.
with Bjork,
Hmm.
the singer. Yeah,
Bjork.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay. He won for
that was
that.
a
Wow.
huh.
I mean,
Yeah, that was outrage from the public.
yeah, but
And
that's
then he dropped that
expected.
Hitler one for Melancholia.
That's for Melancholia.
Uh,
I remember that. That's, I mean, oh, Lars von Trier. What to do?
mm,
Yeah.
oh,
So that's a good
crazy.
segue, I guess. Unless
Huh.
you have more to say about Festen, we can move on to the idiot himself.
The only thing I can tell is that I thought I was a Jew for a long time and was very happy being a Jew. Then later on came Susanne Bier, and then suddenly I wasn't so happy about being a Jew. No, that was a joke. Sorry. But it turned out that I was not a Jew, and even if I'd been a Jew, I would be kind of a second-rate Jew because there are kind of a hierarchy in the kind of the Jewish population. But anyway, I know I really wanted to be a Jew, and then I found out that I was really a Nazi, because my family was German, Hartmann. Which also gave me some pleasure. So I'm kind of what can I say? I understand Hitler.
I'm
So
becoming a Von Trier fan as much as as I'm
I
watching
like
film.
that. I need more people in that gang. I very unironically like the
I
guy's
hated him.
films.
I
But a lot of
hated.
people do. A lot of people do.
Huh,
But I unironically actually like his films. Like
huh.
I'm not being like, I don't like them for their
Another thing
provocation.
is maturity is required, right, for Von
Huh.
Trier films.
Is it?
One will see Nymphomaniac and they're like, this is not a film.
It's like porn, basically.
Like, but no, it is a film about.
No. I'm
Hmm?
saying the people who dismiss it will say it's porn,
Hmm.
basically.
That.
Huh. Okay.
I
Yeah.
was means नहीं बोलना था porn is this.
Oh no, you can say it's fine. Porn like it's normal only. But no, but I totally get
Hmm.
that. But if anyone is aware of Lars von Trier's work, I think if you follow it, you can very much see where Nymphomaniac is, how much of it is like sexual provocation and how much it is about depression. I mean, it is part of the depression trilogy, but yes,
Oh,
it's
obviously.
yeah. So, but anyways, we will discuss him like discuss his other films later. Now
We
we
have an
will move
episode
on.
planned.
Yes, we have. That is my party also. So,
Ah,
yes, we are going to be discussing The Idiots by the guy today, though, which is
Last sponsor.
which is
Second
also
last.
part of a trilogy. Actually, I forgot that it's
Oh,
part of the Golden Heart trilogy.
by
This
Fontrier.
by Von Trier. This is Breaking the Waves. This movie, The Idiots, and Dancer in the Dark. This is the
Oh,
Golden Heart trilogy. Basically, it's about, so basically, I mean, The Idiots is basically about a group of people messing about by being really crude and by acting as handicapped people just to piss society off, kind
hmm,
of, and
hmm,
to like break the rules, which very much mimics what Von Trier and his co-Dogma people are trying to do in some ways.
hmm.
And in the middle of that, you have this one woman character who's very naive,
Who is
simple,
sane?
who's sane, yes, and
Ah,
it's a lot to do with how she finds redemption and how she doesn't succumb to the sort of fate that the other people around her
hmm,
have or suffer. And that's how it also links to a little bit of this whole Golden Heart trilogy. If you've seen Breaking the Waves or Dancer in the Dark, they are much more focused on one single character, like the female
ah.
character who's simple, naive, and goes through all these societal
Oh, in that
and
sense,
yes, it's connected like that only,
ah.
though this is much less focused on her. There are parts of that, but it's also a lot to do with just fucking around. I'm just using the word because like there's no point like being,
There are scenes.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they are literally also, yes, it's both literal fucking around and it's
Also, I
also
guess unsimulated.
metaphorical. Hmm?
Unsimulated, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, that's why it's controversial also, right? Like,
huh.
and the portrayal
Also,
and the sort of
portrayal of
handicapped people.
the
Yes.
it
So
mocks
here's a,
them
so
kind of way.
I'm curious to know what you think, what you admire, what you don't like, because I have thoughts.
Uh, First of all, the innovation, like how the film starts, and
Hmm.
like I found the film very genius in a
Hmm.
way. It uses that mental illness,
Hmm.
handicapped, or physical illness in a way
Yeah.
to reform the society or use society as this mocking ground. They are all
Yeah.
just fooling around, and
Yeah.
like it reminded me of Daisies by Vera
I've not seen it
Kisilova from
still, but
Czech
yes,
New Wave.
yeah, you've told me about
That
this.
film is
Yes.
also two girls who are just dismissing the rules and regulations of
Anarchy, no,
society.
basically. Like,
Anarchy. This film also
chaos,
follows the same thing.
chaos. I think
Anarchy,
that's a dialogue
chaos.
in this, no? About chaos. I think, or
Mm,
maybe no. Oh
you have
no,
remembered a
I've
dialogue
confused
also.
this and Julien Donkey Boy. Never mind.
Oh, that song he sings
Anyways,
in the
The
dinner table.
Idiots. Yes, back to that before we jump
Huh.
into, yes. But yeah, you were saying the beginning you really liked, right? So
In the beginning I
yeah.
like, then in the ending I'm like, this is happening too much.
Hmm.
I'm failing to understand the film quite a bit and like what
Hmm.
it is aiming for.
Hmm.
Then they kind of um, parted ways. The whole band comes
Yes.
off and everybody goes in their own direction.
Yeah.
So the ending left me like little bit unsatisfied with.
Got it. I mean,
Huh,
I'll definitely recommend you to rewatch it, honestly, and not
huh.
because, and the only
Von
reason
Trier
I'm,
films are subjected to rewatch.
I
You
think
have to
so, and I
rewatch.
mean, I mentioned this in like one of the stories I've been like writing recently. Is basically not like Instagram stories, not stories
Hmm.
I'm writing. Like the tension between like being this prankster, or like which he kind of self
Hmm.
proclaims himself to be, and
Hmm.
being genuinely sincere, I think is really effective here.
Hmm.
So I think the key scene, and if someone wants to criticize this on the grounds of, look how cool these people are, look how like on the one hand they are breaking the hypocritical sort of society, right, which establishes
Hmm.
these rules which anyways kind of try and separate themselves from people who are mentally handicapped. So the main group is criticizing them by pranking or like being like, these handicapped people, and basically showing how these people are also hideous. Like the normal people are actually very cruel. There are lots of examples of this in the film, right? I think one of the most effective ones is the one with the actress who plays Helen in Festen also. Paprika Steen. I think she's one of the people who comes to buy the house where these people are
Yes,
living.
I remember.
And
Yes.
her face basically completely turns blue when they tell her that there's a mentally disabled institute just close to them, and she's like, oh, okay. And then she tries to like maintain her attitude, but then she basically
can't.
goes off from there. Exactly. So on the one hand it's doing that, but I think one of the key scene in many senses is when actually handicapped people come into the play, and then you have to see
And then
these
they are
people's
shocked.
reactions, and they are equally inept at doing anything. And I think that's very much the key in sort of how much he is also critiquing the quote unquote idiots, this group is called, as being actually not being able to do much apart from, or not achieving much apart from this apart from Karen, who's the main character, and Jeppe, I think, who's the most sympathetic man, one of the
Jeppe in Open Hearts, he was also there, I guess.
is he in Open Hearts?
Means there is an actor, but
Oh,
Open
yes,
Hearts,
he is. Yes, he is. That's true. He is. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't clock that, but yes, he is. He'll be there in Open Hearts also. Yes. So I think apart from these two characters, I think a lot of the film is about how strangely similar this group is in, like, how it's also like very structured, no, because there's one leader of the group almost, and then all of these are like following orders, so it's like very similar in that sense. And I think I'm pretty sure he's doing this intentionally, right? I don't think he's like dumb. So I think the whole thing about,
like, he has his intentions.
I think he's trolling on the surface level. He's of course trolling society, but he's not trolling the trollers also, if that makes sense. So he's making fun of the people who are normal, quote unquote, but he's also making fun of these actors and performers who are trying to mock this society. Which to me also is like he's almost taking the mick out of himself. He, like, to me, he strikes me as the leader of this idiots group, who like very see, I'll go into like circles trying to because I think it's better to explain the meta nature of it when we talk about Von Trier. But apart from the meta nature itself, I think the film, and this is the one that reminded me most of French New Wave, because there's so much, like, he has like
So
that
many.
boom mic that keeps on appearing in the frame. And then there's that's his usual thing. I think it does in a lot of other films also, which is whatever. This is a very Von Trier thing, I guess. And then there's breaking the fourth wall. Of course, the people are giving an interview to, like, later in life almost, where they're recounting all this. You don't see the interviewer. They're basically talking to the screen. So it's breaking in that sense. But then there's really genuine moments of like pain and affection that he captures, I think, which are very effective.
And especially surrounding Jeppe.
Jeppe has one scene of extreme anguish, which I was a little shaken by, because it's also because you're subjected so much to like this pranky nature, no? Like, you're supposed to take things very, but then when real emotion strikes, it's like full. And I think he uses the camera really well in those scenes. I think, like, he zooms in really closely to all these people,
Like,
and then
when the girl goes away with his father, I guess that scene.
Yes, the scene where he's basically cradling the car, like he's almost like desperate, like that's the whole desperation, right? Like where genuine sort of emotion comes into play.
Back to reality, like everything
Exactly.
is a prank.
Exactly. Which is the whole thing. I think with the reality and jokey nature of it, I think, is like he balances those really well. And I was talking to a friend who thinks this is his best work. One of my friends thinks it's his best work, and I was
Wow.
like, "Are you sure that?" Like, I hadn't watched it, right? So I was like,
Hmm.
and he was like, "People were wrong about this," and I was like, "Well, by people you mean like almost everyone, because I've not heard many people say this is good." But yeah, I have to agree more on his side. I actually think there's real value to this, and I think
Hmm. Like
it's
while
stuck with
discussing,
me.
I'm finding my faults, like how I fail to understand the film.
No, but I think it's
Uh,
also, but I always think the failing to understand is as much a problem of the viewer as it's also of the film. I think, like, I think sometimes films can't communicate it, but again, if you saw it at the age of like 17 or 16, then of course you probably will
yes,
need to like be
Von Trier
older, I
films are
guess.
not for that age. You have
Definitely. I
to
mean, I
be a
would
little bit
definitely not
mature.
recommend like the 18 plus rating is very suitable for his films. Not just because they're violent and
Huh.
crude and like,
The
this has
only rating scale I
unsimilitude.
believe in.
Yes. But I think they are genuinely getting at, and I think it comes across in his other movies also. And I would really want to discuss his later work because I think in that he very openly addresses a lot of the things through dialogue also in some senses. This is, yeah.
Dogville
But
I'm most excited about because
oh, I really like Dogwell. I really like Dogwell.
like I've been hearing that it is a stage,
It
everything is
is,
set
yeah,
on a
yeah, yeah.
stage, and
But
there are
that's
like
the weird
chalk
thing, no?
markings.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing about, I think this kind of goes a little bit into the dogma thing of, you have to show the artifice, but you have the challenge of still immersing the viewers inside the experience. Like,
Hmm.
like if you show a boom mic, if you show people talking directly to the audience, that's supposed to break the illusion, right? It's basically supposed to be
Hmm.
like, the film, we can watch the film and like you are watching a film almost. But
Hmm.
but if you're into the emotional side of it, you kind of stick with it even when it's doing all this fuckery. I think when it's doing
Hmm.
waving the camera around and doing everything,
That's
and he
purposeful, I
shot it
think.
himself. I didn't know
Von
this.
Trier.
He shot it himself. There's no listed cinematographer for this, for Idiots. I think
For
for the Idiots there's no listed cinematographer.
Von Trier should have done.
Yeah, he only did, I think. And then and I think we didn't talk much about this in I don't remember in Festen if they use non-diegetic music in any case. In
No,
Idiots,
they
they
don't.
use this track, and I think Von Trier uses a lot of classical music later on in
Hmm.
his movies also, right? He uses The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns. I don't think I'm pronouncing the name right, but this is a recurring motif that occurs 3 times. I think it appears in the movie. In the beginning, once when she's in that cart going towards the
Okay.
lunch or dinner, wherever Karen is going, then it appears sometime else. Like I probably will need to like track it when I
Hmm.
see it again. But yeah, he uses non-diegetic, which again breaking the rules of his own rules, I guess, set
Huh.
by himself.
Actually,
So
yes.
I mean, you can break them considering that you only set them. So
Hmm. The
so yeah,
confessions are there.
the confessions are there, yes. But yeah, this is
Idiots
this
might be
is
the most
only Dogma
radical
film, right?
film. Huh, only Douglas.
I mean, we haven't gotten to the most radical film, Simon.
You are considering Julien Donkey. Like, I forgot that film.
How
Even
can
it.
you forget? I don't think that film is easy to forget, though, honestly.
Huh,
Like, even though
means
we have
like
a,
uh,
yeah.
it should make sense. Okay, I
Are we
we'll discuss.
switching? I will transition then.
I got a poem. Want to hear it? Yeah. Eternity, chaos. Morning, chaos, eternity, chaos. Noon, chaos, eternity, chaos. Evening, chaos, eternity, chaos. Midnight, chaos.
Julien, cut it out.
Morning, chaos, eternity, chaos.
By repeating
Noon-
chaos, chaos,
No,
chaos,
no.
you don't even, it doesn't even rhyme.
Harmony Korine's Julien Donkey Boy, which is the sixth Dogma film, which is quite early, right? Like I would assume it's
Oh, I thought Open Hearts came earlier.
Open Hearts is number 28.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Julien
bad
Donkey
at
Boy is
remembering years.
no. I basically have to take notes to remember also.
Hmm.
But Julien Donkey was 2000 film. It released in 2000. It's the only English film or like English language and US production we are covering. Simon, do you want to elaborate on what it is about?
Schizophrenia.
It's not a. That's actually a very good description. It is about schizophrenia. It's about schizophrenia and it's about Julian's schizophrenia. I guess that's the best way to
Julian's
put it.
schizophrenia, and it's about Julian's mind and how he perceives
Yeah,
his
this is
environment,
like to me.
family.
This is basically like. I mean, films are not first-person point of views. Like they can't be generally. Otherwise, there was one movie called Hardcore Henry, which was a first-person POV thingy, which gave me nausea. But it's like a video
Angst
game
is
basically.
also there. Angst is a film. Which was
Angst is first person.
You have watched it, I guess. Gerald Karg film.
I have not
Austrian
watched
film.
it. I have not watched it.
Like the camera literally is like where he's going, the camera is going. And the means the
But
camera
can you see his head or no?
In some scenes, no.
Oh no, Hardcore Henry is you can't ever see the main character's head only. It's full first person.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
like someone
interesting.
attached a GoPro and he's like just going around. It's basically a
that's
game,
interesting.
Game mein jaise first person shooters are there. It's
Acha.
basically that.
Mhm.
And so I watched it in the cinema and I got a proper headache because I'm generally like not
That would be a blast to watch in cinema.
it's not. It really isn't. But no, this a lot of filmmakers try and do it without like doing the first person. Julien Donkey Boy, I think, is very much in that category of like, everything is below the subjective point of view. Like that is the most important. If you see the film in that respect, I feel there is some stuff to be gained in terms of just how like a mental state goes up and down and up and down. I think I messaged you saying that one of the patterns maybe
One
I
scene
did
is
yeah that only one of the patterns I noticed was the whole one scene has
joyful,
a joyful, not even joyful, it's slightly happier, and then the next is like deeply tragic, and you kind of get a jumble of those, which is supposed to be, I guess, his personality is divided, right? So I guess you get that sense of as a juxtaposition, but like I don't enjoy watching it. I really don't.
Some dialogues, some scenes don't make sense.
So
Werner Herzog.
So this is the thing, right? I was about to say, like, it's weird that there are other subplots going on. So are you supposed to take the subplots also as a subjective state of his mind? Maybe then they make more sense, because I was like, if you're going completely for his point of view, right? Then why don't you just excise everyone else? But then I guess he wants to include other stuff. So it's very weird. Like, I guess even the subjective stuff
Very
maybe is not
jumbled,
as
incoherent
consistent,
stuff.
which is a dogma in many ways. But do you think it's less productive here?
And also, like, how much means the thing that baffles me is how well received Julien Donkey Boy is as compared to Idiots.
It is really well received. I was looking, people think it's his I've not seen much Harmony Korine. You've seen, and you think you like his other work, right?
Kids, I have seen Kids he wrote. I have seen Gummo, Ken Park. Ken Park is also Larry Clark work, I guess.
Okay. Gummo, I've heard about it. That's similarly supposed to be disgusting, right? But
like Harmony Korine doesn't even try to go Dogma. He is already like from the beginning continuing that awful video quality thing.
Got it. Like he thrives on that sort of junky trash. I think he is associated with trash cinema in any case. Like I mean that like,
John Waters thing.
But I guess John Waters had a better sense. I mean, this movie is not humorous much. Julien Donkey Boy.
No.
I mean, Werner Herzog, I laughed at a couple of places because it's Werner Herzog, and I find the guy's voice both funny and terrifying. So I was like, in some places, I was like, it's very weird, but like I don't mind him doing all this weird stuff. Like
it's because of Werner Herzog.
I was shocked that he was in the movie. I didn't check the credits, right? I watched. I started it and I was like, why is this guy speaking like Werner Herzog? And I was like, oh, this is Werner Herzog. Of course it is.
I was fully aware, like from
No,
the
this
start.
was like a shock to me. I was like, what? Like, where did he come in this from? And so that was my like most exciting moment in the film to realize that Werner Herzog is there. But yeah, like I feel
The only film with a great aesthetic, like or the sapphire tone aesthetic,
yeah, I mean it's what do you like
fails the
you
motive of Dogma, like, but still
but
pretty to look at.
you've tried watching this a couple of times, right? And you've not finished it before. Yeah. So is there like a particular point you bailed out at, or what do you think of it in general? Like, do you not connect?
Uh,
What's
Connection, no connection in the film at all. Like
yeah.
I didn't even think Korine also wanted to like attach ourselves to to
You
the
think so?
central
I
character.
thought he's trying to do exactly like he's trying to immerse us, I thought, in his point of view. Like that's the only way I
I
could see
guess
it.
he failed. I mean, I wasn't immersed at him at all. I was like finding stuff so I can latch onto him. Okay,
Hmm.
now he's
Yeah.
making sense. But
Mm-hmm.
no,
No, but that's
it's
true.
very
Like I mean,
avant-garde, I feel.
it does push
Make
into avant-garde. Yeah,
ah,
definitely.
the dialogues doesn't make sense.
What?
Also,
So
his
I was
actions.
trying to think what all is happening so there's on the one hand, there's like the Julien story going on,
Hmm,
which is I think the opening scene is of him murdering someone, murdering a kid who's playing
hmm,
with sort of a turtle, I think, and he
hmm,
asks for it, and he murders him because he doesn't give him the turtle. And then it's his story is going on, and he's also he's like a social service worker with I think one of the church
worker
people at the
or he is
part of the group,
in
either
the
or. It's not made
part of it.
clear. Yeah, at some for the disabled, I think he's working with them or
Hmm,
a part of their group. And
hmm.
then there's a moment, and then he has a implied incest relationship with his sister who's
Oh yeah.
conceiving a baby,
Huh.
right? I think
That
that's
that scene was done very well. Like, who is the father? Father question mark that cut to Julian
yes, yes, yes,
in the
yes, yes,
hospital. That
yes,
scene was great.
yes, yes.
That
So
was the
there's that.
only time I felt that wow,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
that
innovative.
that element is there, but then there's other stuff going on also. There's the relationship with his father, like a very like not a healthy relationship with his father, which shows its
Hmm,
part
hmm,
in like a couple of scenes. But then his father is played by Werner Herzog, has his own
hmm.
relationship with their other son, who's called Chris, I think, who he's training to be who he's training to be
Wrestler.
a man, a quote unquote man. Like he hoses him
Okay.
down with
Huh.
water. He like tells him to like, but then he also
Don't
tells
be a
him to dress like
coward. Be a
his
man.
no. Then he tells him to dress like a woman, like dress like his wife. He gives him a
Uh,
dress, and it's really
w-
weird.
Even more than Julian, Werner Herzog character is more confused.
His character is supposed to be very
Like,
like messed up, I think. And I mean, so the weird thing with Werner
uh,
Herzog is I think
oh, German relation, I guess that World War thing,
they do
something.
have that a little bit, yeah.
Uh,
But the weird thing is that
Gas mask.
yes, 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 he's wearing that
Uh,
gas mask also a lot of times. So I think well, the weird thing with Werner Herzog is that he's too distinctive a voice. I feel like when he's speaking, I'm
hmm,
like, oh, this is Werner Herzog. Like I can't think of him as like this character.
hmm,
So I just found him like amusing rather than being super
hmm.
disturbed by him. Like Werner Herzog can say this stuff in his own documentaries, and I won't, and it'll feel apt, right? Because he speaks like that. So with
Uh,
him, it was a bit of a distraction. I really like Chloe Savini in this. She was
great.
very like I think she plays very much like an angel, almost like a
Hmm.
angel character in his life and how
Or,
she's supposed.
and Korean films her also very beautifully. The opening scene also.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah.
when she skates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's a lot to do with skating and how that leads to later
Uh,
as a very sadistic thing happens in the end, which to me is
uh,
the point where it's like a lot of that element of provocation. What I said about um, Von Trier that doesn't bother me.
idiots.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Like with Von Trier, the provocation generally never bothers me because I think there's meat underneath the provocation or like emotional stuff. with Korine, from this at least, I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think some of it's just provocation, and I find that a bit distracting, I feel. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can't deny the experimentation. Like, I
If
can't.
emotional wise, like only Chloe Savigny's character was a little bit empathetic.
Yes, she, and I guess Michael, not Michael, sorry, Chris a little bit, but
Chris
then,
also, but
yeah, but
the
then Julian
thing that
himself
distracts
is,
me is like nothing is complete in this film.
that's the
Again,
point, I would
huh,
assume.
what Harmony Coin tried to achieve, I
Yeah,
guess the thing which he tried to achieve failed the film itself. For me, at least,
yeah. I
like
mean,
that
it's
point of view thing, I can't really connect with.
got it. No,
Huh.
neither could I. I couldn't connect
Hmm.
with it. I'll tell you, that's why I said my reference point was Terrence Malick, where I was like, I get this aesthetic because I know one of my favorite filmmakers does something similar, except the
Hmm.
images look quote unquote
Good.
pretty, and I am much more attuned to his sensibilities because I think
Hmm.
Korine and a couple of the provocateurs at that time view the world as like completely hopeless also, right? They are also
Oh, yeah.
completely like, this world is not inviting at all. Like it
Hmm.
really pushes you away as a viewer also.
That's his films are also
In
not,
general, right? Exactly.
huh,
Like that's
not
what I've heard,
inviting
at
at
least
all.
I've not seen much.
Huh.
But
Hmm.
the point of view thing only came to me because of Malik, because I've seen his recent works, and his recent works focus a lot on that similar sort of point of view, subjective. You get
Huh.
cutting, which is like like
Weightless
sometimes
trilogy you
sometimes the
mentioned.
cutting won't get like, it won't be normal. It'll cut from scene to scene in a way which is unnatural,
Hmm.
and it's more driven by emotional logic than logic, which is the big, I think, point with this. But yeah, it didn't work for me. The whole chaos is the thing which
Dialogues
came into.
also, like you can't
But
critique the film. Anything you say, it's like, oh, he's schizophrenic, so
I
obviously
was
it's in his mind.
actually that no, I was getting at this point. You brought up a great point. I had noted this before also. It's like with Dogma and a lot of these movements, sometimes it's very hard to critique them because then the reply is always that is the intention,
Huh.
right? 'Cause, I mean, you also said that you didn't get it feels incomplete, and then I was basically like, that's probably the intention,
Huh.
which is weird, right? Because then it becomes impossible to critique something. But I think we can critique it on the grounds that we didn't connect with it, which I think is
Hmm.
something which is a problem.
At least a little bit sympathetic or a good dialogue must have helped us
Hmm.
to connect with Julian.
Yes,
Everything was so esoteric. Like, what are you saying? We can't understand.
the
Like
world is
violence,
horrible.
violence, violence, violence. Uh, that to like every Harmony Korean film except Spring Breakers.
I've heard that's fun,
Ah, that's
but
like the
it
only
isn't
time
Beach Bum
Harmony
also,
Korean has
no?
been. Oh, his earlier films are trash in quality. He has got more funding recently. A24,
A24,
of
yes,
course.
yes. I mean, the aesthetic matches, no, like now it's become prettified, like properly prettified. Nice aesthetic bump also he's gotten.
A24 has a much. A24 has a like. At least he will improve his camera. At least
Yes, definitely.
watch
But
Gummo. It's you will watch Gummo and then you will remember the killing of the sacred deer.
I like Killing of the Sacred Deer though.
Then you will get the resemblance of Barry Keoghan's character
Ah,
and
okay.
the lead character.
But I've heard Gummo is much more like stationary, unlike Julian Donkey Boy, which is like consistently moving.
Uh, Gummo is very slow compared to Julian Donkey Boy.
Huh, got it. Isn't it
Julian Donkey
someone in
Boy
a
is like,
tub basically for the longest time?
oh, Gummo, huh?
Right. Yeah,
That
yeah.
lead character.
Yes.
Lead, I think so. Yes.
You hear about these things because like that's a lot of times those things are like the selling points, no, like the
Huh.
provocative elements. So basically that. Yeah.
Oh, Harmony Coin also uses Chloe Savigny a lot.
Oh, she came up from underground movies only, or what, like this?
Huh? Huh?
Okay.
She
Okay.
was in Kids. She was
Yeah.
in Gummo. Both disturbing roles.
Yeah.
Has she done any cheerful roles in her career? I don't think so.
I'm trying to think.
E-
I've seen her in
Everywhere I
She's
What Vincent Gallo films also. She's like
she's supposed those are supposed to be super depressing, right? I've never seen Vincent Gallo films. Chloe
don't
Sevigny.
watch. He's a brick.
On Vincent Gallo sometime else. But I've seen Chloe Sevigny in The Snowman, which is very funny because that movie is a pile of trash. Uh, and then I saw her in Lean on Pete by Andrew Hay. That's the most positive role I've seen her in. And
Oh,
even that is a little sad, but in that she is positive. Like she's not miserable. Yes. Yeah. But I don't
like
think
it's
she's.
Charlotte Gainsborough.
Yes.
That person. Both doing depressing roles.
I mean, I'm sure Charlotte Gainsborough's done some comedy in like French films.
Huh.
She like
She is a pleasant person, but Chloe Sevigny looks more dark.
maybe we just need to see her in more films. Actually, there is a
Yes.
British film in which she's doing comedy. It's called Love and Friendship. Imagine a friend like we are talking about Chloe Sevigny being dark. She's in a film called Love and Friendship. So yes,
Hmm.
you should watch that. It's good. It's by Whit Stillman. It's funny. It's quite funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
British
Anyways.
film I'll watch.
Anyways, before going to like British period pieces, we can move on to our final film, which is the
Open Hearts.
normalest of the normal especially compared to the three we've talked about. Especially compared to, I think, two Idiots and Julien Donkey Boy, I would say.
Celebration was also conventional.
Comparatively, but
Comparative.
yes. But yeah, Open Hearts is Susanne Bier. Is that the way to pronounce her name? It's
Suzanne
her
Bier.
directorial debut, is it? Or did she make something before this also? I know she's made stuff after this, which I don't particularly, I'm not particularly fond of, but
She's an Oscar winner, right?
Is she? I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
For? Did her film After the Wedding win the Oscar or what?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, In a Better World.
Okay. I've not seen it, I think. Who's in A Better World? Mads Mikkelsen again?
No. Mads Mikkelsen only in one film, I think so. I
Okay.
checked.
Okay.
Open Hearts is not a debut.
Not a debut. Okay. But it's her only film in Dogma, right?
Only female director also in Dogma.
Only female director in Dogma. Okay. But yeah, it's an interesting film, and I think yeah, Simon, you want to go ahead and talk about what it's about a little bit?
2002 film, like simple romance film where the husband is reportedly faced an accident, and then the wife links up with the doctor treating his husband to fill her emptiness.
Yes.
And then chaos ensures
Yes.
the two families.
Two families
The ending
basically.
was quite good.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the whole film.
Ending.
I like the whole film much more than I expected to be honest. I've seen her other work, and I've not seen her other work in general, but I've seen two of her other films. I'm not a fan of either that much.
Paprika Steen is very much famous in these.
Paprika Steen is very good also in this. In all the three films, she's very, very good actually. She plays the lady we talked about in The Idiots, the person who comes to buy the house. She plays the sister in Festen. And
the surviving sister, not the dead one.
Yes, she's the living sister who yeah. And in this, she's the wife of Mads Mikkelsen's Niels character, who's involved in the accident of Joachim, who's Sonia Richter's to-be husband. No, they're about to get married, but yeah.
Nikolai Laikas.
Nikolai, like he was Jeppe, which came like I was surprised. Like there's, of course, if the movement is the same, you'll have over like recurring sort of.
It was a collective mainly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, did you like? You watched it a while back, right? Or when did you watch
this? At least 2-3 months back.
Okay, only 2-3 months back. That's fine. That's not like that back also. But
A pretty easy watch, like after Festen and Mark.
definitely, I watched this straight
Very
off.
easy watch.
Watched this straight after Julien Donkey Boy, and I was like, wow, this is like familiar territory. And like, I was very happy to be in the company. I mean, you're not supposed to be very happy to be in the company of essentially people who are quite selfish and quite destructive in a way. But like, I was just happy to be in the company of people who I understood a little bit. And like,
Yes.
in a place which was, of course, it's cold and depressing, and it's a little like, Dogma films address difficult subject matter in general, but this was
That's
quite,
another big point of the movie.
yeah, it was quite positive, like in general. Like I
The
like the love
ending, I
story.
didn't expect the ending to be like that. Like
Yeah, I
she'll
thought
return
it's
to
going
her
to
husband.
basically be like everyone's broken apart and everyone's like separated from each other, sort of like that.
Destructive ending.
Exactly.
No.
I mean, it is fairly destructive for the longest time, and I guess the ending
Huh.
itself is more hopeful. But
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I liked most of the character dynamics in this. Actually, I think this is mostly, out of all the movies we've seen, the most performance driven. I feel performance and writing driven.
Not that
In
much engaging plot or something, but the
like
acting
a
and
very
chemistry makes.
standard melodramatic
Hmm.
plot. No, like one
Huh.
accident occurs and it kind of wrecks everyone's lives who are in it.
Hmm.
I think
Brilliant chemistry shared by everyone.
definitely between Mads Mikkelsen and Sonia Richter, especially. I think like they
Hmm.
have great chemistry. Like it's also
Huh.
because like their relationship begins without us necessarily, without the film necessarily pushing that relationship to begin. Like it
Huh.
feels very natural when they sort of connect and whatever, sleep with each other.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I
It
think uh,
normalized the affair thing, I guess,
yeah, I think
like to
that's
fill the
the
inner void.
the sort of the one sort of provocative idea I think at play here is that I is Susanne Bier and the co-writer is Anders Thomas Jensen also. Are
Hmm.
they kind of punishing the people who committed the accident? I almost feel the more provocative way to look at this film is to see if the Mads Mikkelsen character is basically like the tennis ball between the two families, and
We can.
basically
Hmm.
the person who commits the accident ends up
Hmm.
losing their family because they actually resulted in the person who's in the accident them losing their, so it's like
Hmm.
a strange twist of fate where the person who commits the accident loses their family, but the person who is involved in the accident gains a family in a very weird way. Because that's the provocative element, and the fact that it's a very casually done sort of sex thing between the two, right? And I think
Not
how
that much sincerity or like the weight which celebration had. Very
yeah,
laid back in a sense. Like
yeah, it
everything
is
is.
laid back compared to like the other films we've talked about, like other, like it's
Uh,
very much it's thorny, like all characters are very conflicted, all characters are very like selfish, they take decisions impulsively, they're not.
hmm.
There's a lovely scene between Paprika Steen and Mads Mikkelsen when he's telling her to leave that he's leaving the house, and she like doesn't know how to articulate what to say, so she like slaps him, but then says sorry, and then she basically shouts at a child for basically being like, your dad is like this horrible person, and then she says sorry again. So it's like all that again, that complicated sort of interpersonal relationship is there. Could it be shot not in handheld camera? I don't know. I would
It
think
could have
not,
been.
because I think it gives it a immediacy. It's like so raw, spontaneous sort of
Oh, acha. In that
feel
sense.
to it.
Yes. Hmm.
But I can imagine this being the only film that could actually function in a different aesthetic also.
Huh.
Like, I don't know how much the aesthetic adds
Because
to.
it's very conventional,
Yeah, it
this
is.
plot.
Yeah,
So it
but
can be made into a
is that a trend though? Like
polished.
as the sort of movement, because this released in 2002 and the movement ended in like 2005, right? So is
Hmm.
this like a thing where it kind of just runs out of steam? Like,
Ideas.
that innovation kind of just dies
Huh.
out.
Oh,
And it basically like
If
'cause
it's 28th film, right, in the Dogme, and
yeah,
total number of films are 31.
yeah. This is like
Clearly,
the
everything is
ending of
going down.
yeah. But I mean, this aesthetic and all bled into a lot of American independent cinema, like a lot of mumble. I think it was one of the
Mumblecore.
mumblecore inspiration, right? Like a lot of that. Like
Hmm.
mumblecore is shot much more with like pristine cameras and all that. But
Huh. But
this is
this
actually
features the
this
actors.
feels more that than the other Dogma stuff. Like
Hmm.
this is not soft like mumblecore, but it feels more towards that American independent space rather than like Festen. For some reason I can't imagine. Now I know we have Succession, but like I couldn't imagine 1998 mein, like you have like this sort of drama coming out from like the States, or like it's too, also it just looks very grimy for it to be like an American production, I feel. And
US productions won't take this much risk.
I feel
Like
so, at least. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I'm always baffled by the success of Succession. Like, I know success of
Succession is
Succession, but
stylized as a mini series.
yeah, but I'm
Like
very
most,
surprised by how many people are interested in watching families like a poisonous family tearing each other apart. I
my
guess
problem is if you are watching, let's say, 5, 6 seasons of this, why not watch a 2-hour film called
we will get
Festen?
into that. I mean, I'm happy to
Khatam.
get into that discussion, Simon. I'm very much on your side, but
Like whatever Succession is doing, Festen has
hmm,
already done. So just watch it.
there's definite precedence to it. Of course, Succession is doing like other stuff also, but like
What
I'm
to
reducing it
increase
to that.
episodes?
But hey, yahan pe, like a lot of the blueprint feels like it's like when I watched Festen, I was like, yeah, you can very much map this out onto Succession, and it won't be too far apart.
And how much less talked about this the relation between Succession and Festen is. Like
Yeah, it's
clear
an
relation
opportunity
hai,
for us to be
but
talking about it. I guess we should do a post
ah,
on it. But no, there's definitely I mean, again,
great idea.
no, but I think more than, yeah, that definitely. But I think it's worth noting, to be honest, and I think we are to be blamed in some senses also. Like just the whole
Hmm.
prettification of stuff is probably stopping people from watching a lot of, you know, thoda sa, like, I know low quality image here, but like it serves a purpose. I think it really has like a.
It all complements the nature of the human
I've always felt that films which
humanity.
with lower grade images sometimes really help enhance.
Hmm.
Uh, I think I remember
Enhance
28
the
Days Later.
experience.
I've
If
always liked.
Celebration was like this pristine film,
Yes,
it won't
exactly.
scare me.
Yeah. It has
Succession
that.
wouldn't scare me.
Yeah,
Succession is okay, it's good, but it won't scare me like how
you are.
Festen did.
I will look forward to people who comment on your Succession comments.
I haven't, first of all, I haven't watched it, and I'm not interested to watch Succession. And if it's related to Festen, then surely I won't watch
I
it.
mean, it's not relate. Like I'm making a comparison, but like that's because there's thematic
Also,
similarities.
it just looks like so much
Effort.
boring.
Okay, you're firing all guns here.
Except the soundtrack, Nicholas Britton.
Oh, the opening track is amazing.
Uh,
The intro track, at least. But
Only that guy could make me watch
he's very good.
Succession. Otherwise, no.
Watch. I mean, watch as in I quite like it. I'm not as crazy about it as like everyone in the world, but I really like it. But yeah, you have
Hmm.
clearly attract people to send you abuses by saying this, but that's fine. You've made controversial statements
That's my
before, so that's
job.
fine. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot, but I think we've covered a fair bit in good like
Huh.
compact time, and like I think we've done a better job than I think we did with the Japanese cinema. Not that the Japanese cinema episode was
Huh.
bad, but it was a challenging thing to do because it was too broad a topic,
Japanese,
I feel.
because you have to relate also like Japanese films with other contemporary films which we are not
Exactly.
discussing.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
I
so
think
vast.
you have a fixed time period, you have a fixed
Huh.
sort of, set of films, and I think
We have
it's
numbers, we have certificates.
Exactly. I mean, yeah,
disconnect.
that way it makes it much easier actually. And then they have a specific aesthetic, like similarity, but then with Japanese
Root
cinema, you're tracking different styles, like going from Rashomon to like in the realm
in the
of the
realm of
senses.
senses.
Yeah. No, but I think from next time we'll do this though. I think we'll limit it down to an era, or like limit it down to like, one of those things. And
Better.
please, yeah, so I think please send us suggestions for that. We really welcome that. I think I love preparing for these episodes. This is one of my sort of favorite. Firstly, I get to learn much more, and then I get to watch awesome stuff like Julien Donkey Boy, which I would never watch otherwise. And then I also have to, so like again, it's like discovery, but then there's also like a lot of other stuff that you didn't think, like I didn't think about, like the comparisons between Dogma and other film movements. You get to discover all this. And I think if you want us to cover a specific, I know we have got some suggestions, but please keep on sending us more suggestions, because we'll be happy to sort of
The
delve
UK,
deeper into it.
one thing to add, Dogme kind of relates with what Ken Loach was doing in UK.
With better aesthetics.
With better aesthetics and a good
Hmm.
budget.
Yes. But was he doing this much provocation?
No, it
Or was it
was
more
rather
political
simple, but like
provocation?
the thoda sa aesthetic similar.
Got it. No, I understand what you mean. I've seen some Ken Loach. I've not seen
Ken
many,
Loach is
but
like one of my favorite directors.
I see why. I can understand totally.
I started watching British films because Ken Loach.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great reference point. I really like whatever I've seen from him. I mean, Guess is like some other level for me.
Guess
So yeah. But yeah, that episode we'll do some
Capaldi.
British cinema thing. I think all of us are generally fans of a lot
Lee
of.
is on my list.
Mike Lee is one of my favorites also. So
Secret and Lies, I have to watch it.
oh good lord, best of luck, because that movie can break your heart into a gazillion pieces. So
it's like fully dialogue based, right? Only dialogue.
I mean, it's it's very well made also, but his writing a lot of times and performances overpowers the sort of visual element. But
that's the best thing for me. I want dialogue.
But yeah, no, but it's very well. I mean, it's spectacular, honestly. But yeah, okay. Later on my praise about Mike Lee and Ken Loach and and other people. No, he'll go in some other list. He won't be in a list actually. He'll be a separate. He'll be one episode. Yes. Anyways, yes. So thank you so much for listening today. And thank you so much, Simon, for filling us.
These films.
I mean, we can just hope. You are not excused from not watching Festen, because I know that's available. Firstly, it's available on Criterion for whoever has the account, and whoever doesn't, it's available more readily than some of these other movies. Like I know I struggle to. You sent me all the copies, but yeah, contact Simon if you want all of the copies for these films.
Anytime, just DM me.
I think you'll be the happiest if people watch these films, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I get DMs and I'm like more happy. I'm like, okay, you will watch. I'll send the film.
Especially even these films, like all the obscure and sort of different styles, different types of films, I think.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are
that
fun
fulfills my purpose of my page.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think some of the things, the best things to do about film pages, I think is to discover or like make people aware of like different stuff. And I think your page is consistently done that.
Blade Runner. I mean, not even the original one, the Villeneuve one.
Don't mention who this is, but yes. But okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to the episode today. And you can follow us at Queen is Dead on Spotify. You can follow Simon on Instagram and Letterboxd. On Instagram, you can follow him at the Bong Cinephile, and on Letterboxd you can follow him at the Bong Cineph, if I'm right. Yes, you can follow me if you want to on Instagram at Terminal Cinema. I basically do a bombardment of stories more so than posts, but yeah,
that's stories.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening today, and khatam.
Mr. Hunter, Melancholia, would you consider this your answer to the Hollywood blockbuster? And if not, could you envision doing a film on a grander scale than this?
On a grander scale, yeah. Yeah, that's what we Nazis, we we have a tendency to try to do things on a greater scale. Yeah, maybe you could persuade me into the final solution with journalists. No, I'm
well, on that very, very strange note, I'm afraid our time is up.